Studio Recapped here. Today, we're going to talk about a movie called Damsel in the action, fantasy, and adventure genres. Spoiler alert is on. Watch out and take care. You won't believe how much your support means. Thank you so much for your support. The movie starts with a king and his knights attacking a cave. They are terrified when they see a giant dragon inside. The dragon breathes fire and kills all the knights. Then, it turns to the king, who begs for mercy. The story then jumps centuries ahead to a northern land. Elodie and Floria, the daughters of Lord Bayford, are chopping wood. Their people are suffering from hunger and cold, and the sisters are trying to help, knowing that a harsh winter could wipe out their community. Next, a carriage is seen heading toward the lord's estate. When the two sisters return home, their father, Lord Bayford, and their stepmother are talking to a nun. The royal family of Aria has proposed a marriage between Elodie and their prince. At first, Elodie opposes the idea, but when she learns that the money from marriage could save her people from starvation, she reluctantly agrees. Elodie and her family head to Aria. Along the way, they pass by massive dragon statues. Upon arriving in Aria, they are amazed by the kingdom's prosperity and comfort. The servants escort them to their rooms, telling them they will meet the royal family the next day. That evening, Elodie steps onto her balcony to admire the view. Across the castle, she notices a girl her age being quickly taken away by servants. Later, unable to sleep, she begins sketching but returns to the balcony to find no light on any other balcony she saw before. She notices torches flickering in a pile, as if someone had been there. The next day, Elodie's family meets the royal family. Queen Isabel sends Elodie to spend time with Prince Henry before their wedding. Elodie and Henry get along well. Curious, Elodie asks him about what she saw the previous night, but Henry brushes it off, saying it's part of an ancient ritual to honor their ancestors. Meanwhile, Lord Bayford looks distressed after a private conversation with Queen. Lord Bayford's wife tries to uncover what upset him but gets nowhere. Lady Bayford approaches Queen Isabel, who coldly reminds her of their place. This deal was made out of necessity. You need the money. We need a bride for the prince. Lady Bayford attempts to warn Elodie that the marriage seems suspicious, but Lord Bayford interrupts, preventing her from saying more. The next day, servants help Elodie prepare for the ceremony. They hide a dagger and other items in her gown before the wedding begins. Elodie and Henry exchange rings and share a kiss. After saying goodbye to her family, Elodie joins Henry in the carriage. Henry explains that they are heading to the mountains for an ancient ritual. After climbing steep cliffs, they enter a cave. Elodie is shocked to see people wearing terrifying masks. Queen Isabel, dressed like a nun, hands Elodie a coin. Isabel explains that when their ancestors first arrived on the island, they discovered a dragon living there. Isabel explains that when their ancestors first arrived on the island, they discovered a dragon living there. The dragon attacked them, and the king, unable to fight it, sacrificed his 3 daughters to save the people. Since then, the tradition of sacrificing girls has continued. Suspicious, Elodie questions everything. Isabel uses a dagger to cut both Elodie and Henry's hands, pressing them together so their blood mixes. She then declares Elodie now has royal blood. Elodie tosses the coin she received off the bridge. Suddenly, Henry picks her up. After crossing the bridge, he apologizes to her and throws her down into the abyss. Elodie screams as she falls, hitting sharp branches on her way down before landing in a pit and losing consciousness. When she wakes up, she screams for help, her cries echoing through a cave. Her voice awakens the dragon from the depths of the cavern. Elodie's attempts to escape fail, leaving her more injured each time. She notices jewels and clothing scattered around, realizing they belong to previous sacrifices. As she moves toward a light in the cave, she finds a burning bird. Trying to put up flames with dirt, she accidentally kills the bird. A strange sound fills the cave as hundreds of burning birds fly out, only to die moments later, their bodies falling to the ground. Elodie spots the dragon and begins to run. The dragon's voice echoes, saying, "I can smell your royal blood. You are the next sacrifice." Elodie realizes the wound on her hand was meant to trick the dragon. The dragon tells her there's no escape and unleashes a fiery blaze. Elodie finds a tunnel to hide in, narrowly escaping the flames. Inside the tunnel, she discovers a safe spot to take cover. Elodie discovers a charred corpse and realizes it belongs to the girl she saw on the balcony the previous night. The dragon begins chasing her, and Elodie attempts to escape through a narrow hole. However, her royal gown is too bulky to fit through. With fire approaching, she squeezes through with great difficulty, burning a part of her gown and severely injuring her leg. Elodie remembers the dagger hidden in her dress, cuts parts of her gown, and uses them to bandage her wounds. Jan removes the jewelry attached to her dress and uses it to carry a small flame. By the light of the fire, she searches the cave and finds another narrow passage. While crawling through it, she slips, extinguishing her makeshift torch. Following a faint blue light, she carefully navigates through a treacherous path. Using her dagger for support, Elodie pushes forward and eventually finds glowing slugs. She collects a few and wraps in a piece of her gown to use their luminescence for light. Elodie drinks some water from a nearby lake but spits it out due to its foul taste. Instead, she stands beneath dripping ice from the ceiling and drinks the melting drops. Suddenly, the ice starts melting rapidly, revealing a red glow. Elodie panics upon seeing the dragon and runs. She slips and accidentally stumbles into a hidden safe spot, finding an inscription that reads, "This place is safe." She discovers clothes belonging to other girls, with their names etched on nearby stones. As she rests, she suddenly sees the ghosts of previous victims. One ghost, Victoria, warns her that everything is a lie. Elodie wakes from what seems like a dream, noticing slugs gathering around her wounded leg. She angrily brushes them off, only to realize they have healing properties and have helped mend her injury. Elodie places the slug on her other wounds for further healing. Exploring the area, she finds a map of an escape route carved into the wall, realizing someone had successfully fled before. Following the map, she navigates through the dangerous terrain until she encounters a towering wall covered in sharp crystals. Using pieces of her gown and a crown she found that belonged to Victoria, Elodie begins climbing. She hears the dragon's roar growing closer but keeps climbing toward the cave's exit. The dragon reaches the base of the wall and watches her climb. A crystal breaks, causing Elodie to slip, but she catches herself and reaches the exit just in time. She discovers the exit leads to the edge of a massive chasm in the mountains. Feeling hopeless, she notices a group of riders below and shouts for help. However, the dragon blocks the exit and covers the chasm. Elodie spots another message on the wall. It reads, "This place is not safe." Nearby, she finds Victoria's remains, confirming no one had ever truly escaped. The dragon prepares to unleash his fire, but hears the sound of the approaching riders and flies toward them. Among the riders is Lord Bayford, leading knights in search of Elodie. Hearing their voices, Elodie follows the sound and finds another tunnel. She stumbles upon a nest of 3 baby dragons, recalling Victoria's warning in her dream. Isabel had lied. This dragon was not the last of its kind. A flashback reveals that the king had ordered the slaughter of the dragon's young, enraging it. After killing the knights, the dragon declared that death was too merciful for the king and vowed to make him suffer. Since then, the royal family had been luring girls of royal blood to the dragon as sacrifices. Elodie spots her father among the riders, but hides out of fear of the dragon. The dragon arrives and kills one knight, then the second. Lord Bayford proclaims he is there to save his daughter and attempts to attack the dragon. The dragon disarms Bayford with its tail and demands he force Elodie to reveal herself. Bayford, full of regret for his past actions, begs Elodie to stay hidden. Enraged, the dragon pierces Bayford's heart with its claws. Elodie cries out, drawing the dragon's attention, but the last remaining knight distracts it. Elodie bids farewell to her father and kisses him. Using a rope meant for her father, she climbs to safety. The dragon crushes the final knight and turns its attention to Elodie. Barely escaping, she hides under a rock. The dragon, furious, breathes fire all around. Meanwhile, Isabel learns of Elodie's escape and storms toward Elodie's family, determined to take Floria. Lady Bayford tries to stop Isabel, but is injured. Elodie emerges from her hiding spot and finds Lady Bayford, learning that Floria has been taken. Elodie promises to save her sister. Meanwhile, Isabel takes Floria to the sacrificial bridge. Henry refuses to perform the ritual, but Isabel uses her own blood to taint Floria and pushes her down to the dragon. When Elodie arrives, it is too late. Floria is already in the dragon's grasp, ready to be used as bait to lure Elodie closer. Using her past experiences, Elodie re-enters the cave and retraces her steps. She sets up a sound trap to distract the dragon. When the dragon moves toward the noise, Elodie sneaks in to rescue Floria, who is injured and struggles to move quickly. The dragon returns, forcing Floria to hide while Elodie stands her ground with a sword. She tries to explain the royal family's deceit, but the dragon doesn't believe her and prepares to attack with fire. Elodie thrusts her sword into the dragon's throat and dives into the water as flames engulf her. Emerging from the water, she grabs another sword thrown to her by Floria. Trapped by the dragon, Elodie stabs it in the eye with her dagger, and, with a final strike, pierces its chest. The dragon, still capable of attacking, roars in defiance. Elodie devises a bold plan. She stands before the dragon and urges it to burn her. As the dragon exhales fire, it backfires, leaving it weakened. Elodie proves her claim about the royal family's lies and their exploitation of innocent girls. The dragon, realizing the truth, begs Elodie to end its life. Instead, she chooses to help it, using the slugs to heal its wounds. Meanwhile, a wedding is taking place at the castle. Isabel notices a strange coin before Elodie dramatically enters the hall. Everyone is shocked to see her alive. She warns the bride to run and gives everyone a chance to flee. The servants quickly evacuate. The dragon then appears and engulfs the castle in flames, destroying Isabel and the entire royal family. The castle crumbles to the ground. Days later, Elodie, Floria, and their stepmother prepare to return home on a ship filled with gold and provisions. Together, they plan to rebuild and govern their homeland. During the journey, the dragon, now an ally, respectfully escorts Elodie.